I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with a 3-minute cattle market update for Friday, January the 8th, where we finally succumbed to the pressure from the outside global markets and took big losses there on Thursday on the cattle futures. But other than that, we've had a lot of positive news, but it's just going to see what happens on Friday here and to start the next week. But live cattle on Wednesday were down just 25 cents on the February contract. Thursday was down a $3 limit as we just get so much pressure from the stock market and everything coming out of China and everything. Feeder cattle on Wednesday was up 55 cents on January contract. Thursday was down 4.50 to close on Thursday at 163.82. So we'll just have to see now that we can go to expanded limits if we start going off 4.5 on live cattle and $6 and plus on feeder cattle. Your CME feeder cattle index, the last established here late Thursday, was 167.94. Real-time index on Cattle Market Central was up to date, including all of Thursday's sales, which were down $1.64 from the end of Wednesday's business to at 164.65. So we know we're going to see some losses now on your cash market due to the stiff losses that we saw on the futures. Had just a few fat trades so far this week at 212 and Nebraska dressed. We didn't get to take advantage of all the bullishness that we saw earlier in the week. We assumed that we were probably going to get around $1.40 in the Southern Plains on feedlot cattle, but never did quite obtain that. And now that we've seen these losses in the futures market, probably not going to see that. But just hard to believe that China's stock market, being a dictatorship and not having capitalism, has so much influence on our United States stock market, and just goes to show you, how much money we borrow from them and how much China's economy influences us here in the United States. But your meat has been just storming higher. $35 rally really on your choice cutouts here on this last rally we've seen, without any help from our most expensive cuts, because it's not grilling season, so we're not seeing anything out of those middle meats. It's mostly your trimmings and things like that, even though cow meat's still pretty cheap right now. But that's probably going to stall out too, which we just don't know how much this cash market can withstand all that pressure. In El Reno on Wednesday, they had around 7,000 head, and hadn't seen any of this sell-off in the futures market yet, and it was $10 to $20 higher. But you look on a Thursday sale like Mitchell, South Dakota, which it was compared to just last week, so they did get all the gains that we saw after the holidays, but still on Thursday Mitchell was $5 to $10 lower. So we know we're going to have some losses in the cash market, hopefully not nearly as stiff as it was sharply as it went up over the holidays and the first sales after the holidays. But these feedlots are really hungry for cattle. They didn't have many sales at all for 2 to 3 weeks there, and these feedlots come out bidding, on all classes, and even some of your less desirable types, your fleshier type big calves that hadn't been weaned quite as long as a lot of people would like, and some of your plainer yearlings coming out of the preconditioned yards there. But feedlots showing a lot of good demand so far this week. Just don't know if it's going to close the week out that way, and it sure didn't quite as strong on Thursday there. Look at Cattle Market Central, some individual sales there in Torrington livestock markets in Wyoming there. They had 2 loads on Wednesday, 121 head of 803-pound steers, bring 170 and a quarter. And that was an awful good price there. You look on Thursday at Salina, Kansas, Farmers and Ranchers Livestock. They had 2 loads, weighed just a pinch more at 817 pounds. They brought 164.75. Not that those two markets are apples to apples, but that's what happened there in those two markets. You look back on Wednesday in Torrington on some calf sales. They had a big load of 527-pound steer calves, bring 216.50. Check out Monday on DV Auction here, Virginia Cattlemen's Association tele-auction. Monday the 11th at 6 o'clock Eastern, which would be 5 o'clock in the central part of the United States. They've got 37 loads of preconditioned calves and yearlings to sell on there. And I tell you what, they're selling a little bit back of the mainstream market, but you'll love those cattle in there. And especially these cheaper freight rates, you need to get in on some of those if you're feeding cattle, especially on in the eastern corn belt there. But that's 3 minutes. We'll talk to you next week.